While the West Coast is famous for its diamonds, two South African chefs have discovered another kind of treasure here. These gents are mindful of what and how we eat, as well as which products are natural and sustainable. And in the local sea salt, they seem to have found all the answers.
Hi Insider, I'm Cormac.
I'm Beau, Toit. We are two chefs in love with salt.
Today we're visiting our favorite supplier on the West Coast. Come and join us, let's go. This salt over here is probably the most amazing crystal. So if you kind of have a look at that beauty there, this is one of the beginnings of salt for me, in a sense of seeing the beauty, almost like a snowflake on steroids, where it gets harvested as its first formation. But this is known as fleur de sel. It's that first formation on the actual salt pan before it goes into little crystals and salt granules.
So this is where it all begins. From the ocean to the salt pans around you, it takes about 8 months for it to get seawater into salt.
And this here is what we call sea salt. It's one of about 15 production methods in the world where salt is made. My journey with salt began 15 years ago at a dinner that we did, and we turned this into an experience. That experience became a 4-course tasting menu paired with food, wine and salt. And from there it's just grown and grown into the massive business that it's become today.
In 2007, I worked at a Thai restaurant and I fell in love with fermentation, preservation and cooking methods that is hundreds and thousands of years old. And it led me to one mineral, and that is salt. It is the key thing that binds all of us, and it just made sense. I came back to South Africa, realized that I've been cooking like this for years, but I didn't think about it. It was a natural progression to where we are now.
So what you see over here is our fleur de sel production. It's the last pump over where we reach that saturation point that salt needs to be at, and you get that beautiful pink hue that runs through that crystal.
And we don't realize in our everyday life how ingrained salt has become. The word salary, something we earn every single month, comes from the word salarium, and that is you were paid your weight or your worth in salt.
For even longer than that, this coastline has allowed locals to put dinner on the table, and Craig and Beau proudly continue that tradition.
Picking mussels because we are on the West Coast. It is one of those beautiful things that South Africa has to offer. I need to find them. The tide is low enough so I can spot a couple, and tonight we will make a little mussel potjie. So we're going to take all the traditions of South African cooking. There's going to be fire, there's going to be mussels, there's going to be wine, and we're going to be happy.
This is going to be so awesome. Most people just steam the mussels with some wine. We're going to add some kelp in there. It gives that lovely minerality to it. You'll find the wines from here are also very mineral, and this here will just perfect that. And then obviously we can't just leave it at that. We're going to have a bit of fun with our picanha steak, because I think this is just going to add so much flavor to that dish. My decision to partner with Beau was we're chefs well in our own rights. We have totally different viewpoints on food as a whole. He has a love for the fermentation process and various other techniques. Mine is hunting down amazing salt pans, and it just made sense.
Successful porridge, we're going to go and meet the winemaker.
With that, a notorious West Coast mist rolled in. Though winemaker Jan Ponk van Sail has come to make the most of this salty sea air.
I tell you what, I'm freezing as I'm standing here. This morning it was 30 odd degrees, and now I can't believe the change.
One of the reasons we're here is a story about the salt on the grapes. Can you please tell us a little bit more about that?
When we started, we saw that there's something that hinders the vineyards, and some of the leaves got leaf burn on the sides. So I was very worried, so I had the leaves analyzed, and we found that there was sea salt on the leaves, and it comes on the wind. So what I did, I put in 1 hectare of sprinklers, and I put fresh water through that, washed off that salt. But only on 1 hectare. The other 3 hectares didn't have sprinklers on. And after 2 years, nothing happened with the others also. So I took the sprinklers away. The vineyard seemed to adapt to the salt situation, amazingly. And it reflects in the wine. The older the wines get, the Bamboos Bay range specifically, you get a salty minerality on the wine. And the older it gets, the more you get that. So that's why it goes so well with any sea product, any seafood, when you prepare any dish. Okay, and speaking about the salty wine, I've got it here. This is the Bamboos Bay Sauvignon Blanc, and it comes from this vineyards out here.
Yeah, very unusual, almost quite minerally, and a hint of sea.
I think this will go very well with our abalone stir fry that we're going to try today. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of acidity, and then that richness from our fish sauce and soy sauce, so yeah.
Fishing, farming, or cooking in these conditions demands a rugged spirit. And having decided that morning to braai, the guys were going through with it.
I'm preparing a stir-fried abalone. Okay, so I've got my onions and my garlic nice and brown. I'm getting the abalone in. I'm going to give them a nice quick sear. I want them dark, beautiful brown color on each side. Then I'm going to season with palm sugar, tamarind, and then we're going with a fish sauce and soy sauce, basil, and our dish is ready. Finished. As simple as that.
Finally, in this madness of weather, I'm prepping up my calamari dish, which I just call salt. The trick with calamari is literally you just want to give it a nice quick work through. You don't want to let it sit too long. They get very tough very quickly. So as soon as they start curling up like that, I'm really just going to take it off. All right, so I've got some chorizo, which we're also just going to take on the grill here. And then what I'm going to do is just add in my olives. They're a little bit sweet. The green ones specifically, not chalara. I'm going to add in my capers, pop that in there as well. Then I'm going to take our lovely sweet Kalamata olives, which are really delicious and release great flavors in there. Then we're going to take our squid heads, add those into that. And there we go, pop that into the fire itself with a little bit more intensity and heat. And then lastly, I'm going to add this lovely flavor, almost a tomato smoor, because we're on the West Coast. I thought nothing better to finish that base plate up. Take all those wonderful ingredients, bang it on the plate, a little bit of garnish, and we're good to go.
So roast picanha with a kala namak, which is a black Indian salt, very high in sulfur. Special salt for us, we love that salt, probably one of the best ones that we got, and tastiest ones. Sear my meat on the fire. So you've probably seen someone wrap steak or boerewors in newspapers. We're on the West Coast, we saw kelp and we went, today we are wrapping our picanha in kelp. We did not know what we're going to do this as we arrived, but it will work. So what I'm going to do, wrap the steak in kelp. It's going to protect it. It's going to have that beautiful salty sea taste to it. And I'm going to throw it into our flame on the left-hand side.
My final dish for today is going to be the beautiful West Coast mussels that we picked this afternoon. I've also got some of the kelp then, which we're going to basically slice up into little julienne, if you like, for no better word. And then from there, we're going to add that in. And that's going to give it a little bit of its own saltiness. And so that's the important part, where we let all that steam come and let those mussels open up and then go from that side of things. So it should open up everything. Mussels will pop open, it'll be delicious. We don't let them cook too long. It's all about timing.
Both of these chefs run successful restaurants, but they'll cook anywhere, under any condition, to spread their food philosophy.
My legacy, I think I'd like to be known as the Salt Chef. I've spent 15 years working on this concept and this brand, trying to build something unique, something special, something with integrity, something with an everlasting understanding where people actually look at salt in a totally different way. We eradicate all commercial salts, and we bring in the salts that are either boutique or dirty salts or natural occurring. And my ultimate collection is just sitting at 225 salts from all over the world. I'd like to reach all of them if I can, and then obviously create a television series or a documentary on salt.
Ek wil ook van hierdie geleentheid gebruik maak om baie dankie te sê. Dat wat julle hier voorgesit het, vir my is dit die eerste keer, maar dit is vir my baie lekker. En ek het baie van soos al die kos op die tafel het ek geniet, maar daar's een ding wat vir my uitgestaan het vanaand is die perlemoen het vir my uitgestaan, regte waar. Soos ons haal hom uit die see uit en ons was hom net skoon en ons bak hom in olie, maar vanaand het ek iets anders proon perlemoen. So ek het baie respek gekry vanaand vir perlemoen.
This is awesome. Thank you very much for your trouble going through everything. There's no main dish for me. Everything was super and everything was very nice. And I think all of our friends here on the West Coast, thanks for you guys that did all the trouble coming through. We enjoyed it very much. Cheers, eh?
Our next step will be opening an international hotel. It is on the horizon, it's happening in the next couple of months. We're very blessed to have this. It came out of being at the right place at the right time, and I think that's how a lot of things work for us, is we are at the right place at the right time, but we're there because we see opportunity in pretty much everything. There's never a day that goes by that we won't call each other going, oh, I found this, or I saw that, or something next has happened, and that's what I like in our business, is there's never something too small, there's never something out of reach, because it's just there, it has to be there. And that's the way we approach pretty much everything. And what I would like to do, I mean, I've got a couple of kids. Craig is salt chef. For me, all I want to do is I want to leave a better place than what I came into, and that's the focus.
Once the most valuable currency, in the hands of Beau and Cormac, quality natural salt is making its comeback.